If you're interested in buying a used iPhone 15 Pro in 2025, I have to applaud you. You're smart enough to realize that you don't need to spend $1,000+ on Apple's latest iPhone in order to get a lot of the latest iPhone features, and are instead going to get that at a $200 to $300 discount with the iPhone 15 Pro. In fact, the iPhone 15 Pro is such a good deal that even I, as a content creator, use this as my main phone on a daily basis. And looking on Apple's website, you can pair the specs side by side with the iPhone 16 Pro, and they're practically identical. And you even compare it side by side with the iPhone 16, and the iPhone 15 Pro actually has a lot of upgrades. And I'm not just talking about small upgrades, I'm talking about big upgrades that the iPhone 15 Pro has over the 16. If you want to buy an iPhone 15 Pro or iPhone 15 Pro Max right now, unfortunately you can't buy them new anymore, and Apple doesn't sell it on the refurbished store quite yet. But your next best option is to buy it off of Amazon Renew Premium if your goal is to get it in like new condition. I have a link for it down below. Yes, it is an affiliate link, but looking at all the reviews, people said that they got theirs in like new condition, and Amazon Renew Premium guarantees a 90% plus battery health, as well as a 1-year manufacturer's warranty. If you're fine with some signs of wear or trying to get a good deal, you can go check out your local market or other places like Back Market or regular Amazon Renewed. However, I will say if you are planning on buying from one of these places, I'd highly recommend checking out my used iPhone testing guide. That way you can be prepared and prevent further issues. Like I was mentioning earlier, the design of the iPhone 15 Pro is very similar to that of the iPhone 16 Pro. You have USB-C charging, the action button, which is also on the base iPhone 16, a titanium frame, and then a frosted glass back with MagSafe, of course. Now, the only differences that the iPhone 15 Pro is missing out on design-wise compared to the 16 Pro is the 16 Pro has a camera control button, which can be very handy for photographers who want quick controls. And then the iPhone 16 Pro 2 also has slightly slimmer bezels and a 0.3-inch bigger display. Now, me personally, I kind of like the small size of the iPhone 15 Pro, but if you do want a slightly bigger display, you could obviously consider a 16 Pro in that sense. And then of course too, there's always the Pro Max version, so if you want a really big display, you can obviously get those as well. And then speaking of displays, things get kind of interesting when you compare the iPhone 15 Pro's display to the base $800 iPhone 16's display. The iPhone 15 Pro actually has quite a big upgrade in terms of display technology. It has a 120Hz display, which makes animations and scrolling feel a lot smoother. And then it also has an always-on display, which is really nice if you want to see your notifications or just have a nice wallpaper that's kind of dim when your phone's lying on a table. And then the iPhone 15 Pro 2 also has a brighter display in certain scenarios. So in general, with the iPhone 15 Pro, you're actually getting a better display than the base iPhone 16 for the same price. And then no matter if you're getting an iPhone 16, an iPhone 15 Pro, or 16 Pro Max, these displays are all very color accurate. They get the same amount of color, they're all very vibrant, they have really good color contrast, and they can get up to about 1600 nits of peak brightness in HDR content and 2000 nits in outdoor brightness. So all these phones are going to be very good for outdoor use or if you want really good color accuracy. But you do need to be careful though, because with nice displays comes really nice repair costs. To replace the screen on an iPhone 15 Pro is $329 from Apple, and for an iPhone 15 Pro Max, it's $379. And then back glasses for these are around $169. So you definitely want to be very careful with this phone. If you're looking for a case, I'd try to find one that has raised edges that go above the screen, kind of like what you see here. And then get a tempered glass screen protector and also get a camera lens protector, because that can save you quite a bit of money later on down the line. And then one thing that the iPhone 15 Pro has done a really good job at my time using it is performance. With this being a year old, there isn't really much difference performance-wise compared to the iPhone 16 Pro's chip. The A17 Pro chip that's in the iPhone 15, I feel like has done a really good job of holding up, and it seems a little bit overkill for what I like to do. I don't do any heavy gaming, so I don't really like test and put these chips to their max limit. But I will say though, the A17 Pro chip was originally meant to play high-end games, so I think performance-wise, you're definitely gonna be good with that there. However, with general performance, I feel like the 120Hz display of the iPhone 15 Pro, in my opinion, makes a bigger difference in how snappy and fast this phone feels. So just keep that in mind as you're shopping for these phones. And then in terms of the actual slowdowns I've experienced with the iPhone 15 Pro, it's mainly been where I've been in an area of poor cellular connectivity, so like a very dense building or out there somewhere where there just isn't really good range. And I don't know if that's really necessarily the iPhone 15 Pro's fault for not getting good cellular connectivity there, but I'd say a vast majority of the time, connectivity and performance-wise, the iPhone 15 Pro is gonna be very good. And it does a really good job too with Wi-Fi. I haven't noticed any slowdowns really with Wi-Fi, and if there is a slowdown, it's been because of my router or Spectrum or whatever. So don't worry about performance with the iPhone 15 Pro. And then we have battery, and this is something we really need to talk about. I would say on heavier days when I'm using my phone a lot for things like listening to music, video podcasts, and taking photos, I'll typically end the day with about 5 to 10% battery left. Sometimes that is with using low power mode. And then on regular days when I'm typically working, I'll typically end the day at about 10 to 20% battery left. So I'd say realistically, you can expect to comfortably get about 6 to 8 hours of screen on time with the iPhone 15 Pro, and that's with the battery health being at 90%. And then you compare the iPhone 15 Pro's battery with the iPhone 16 Pro's. The iPhone 16 Pro does have a 15% increase in battery life, and then the iPhone 15 Pro has like a slight increase compared to the base iPhone 16. However, I think these numbers can be very deceiving because the iPhone 15 Pro, since you're gonna be buying it used, is gonna have some form of battery degradation. My battery right now is at 89% health. So you take 89% of the 23 hours Apple originally advertised with this phone, and that gets you 20.5 hours. So a 7% increase compared to the base iPhone 16 actually. Most resellers will guarantee at least an 80% battery health, and some more premium resellers like Amazon Renew Premium will guarantee at least a 90% battery health. However, I will say though, when you're buying these used iPhones, this is a cost you want to keep in mind because most iPhone battery replacements are anywhere between $80 to $100, and typically people replace their batteries 3 to 4 years after the phone has been released or they bought it. And then if battery life is really important to you, I'd highly recommend checking out the iPhone 16e. You can buy it brand new for $600. However, I will say though, it doesn't have a lot of the features of the iPhone 15 Pro when it comes to cameras and display technology. But with the iPhone 16e, you're getting pretty much the same exact battery life as the iPhone 16 Pro for only $600. So I think that can be a very good deal for those who prioritize battery life. And then with the iPhone 16e too, you are also getting Apple Intelligence, which leads me into another thing that I want to talk about with the iPhone 15 Pros, and that's Apple Intelligence. So what is Apple Intelligence? Apple Intelligence is Apple's on-device AI processing that allows you to do things like generate images, custom emojis, summarize notifications, and supposedly have a more smarter Siri. Now, Apple Intelligence is currently exclusive to the iPhone 16 lineup. However, there is one other iPhone model out there that has Apple Intelligence, and that's the iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max. Unfortunately, the regular iPhone 15 doesn't have it. Apple Intelligence is a feature that I don't really think most people are gonna care too much about. It's still in its early stages and it's not really quite useful yet, but as that AI technology improves, it could potentially become very useful in the future. And with these processors that do support Apple Intelligence, you are getting more longevity out of your phone as well. Right now, you can probably expect about another 6, maybe even 7 or 8 years of the latest iOS updates with the iPhone 15 Pro, and then about another 2 years of App Support updates after that, which is just crazy to think with how the processor technology has improved on these iPhones, how much life you're able to get out of them compared to iPhones that were released a little over a decade ago. And then another thing that I liked about the iPhone 15 Pro, about as much as I would like it if you like the video, is the cameras. With the iPhone 15 Pro, you're getting a 0.5 ultra-wide camera, as well as a 1x, 2x, and 3x telephoto lens option, which makes it really good for those who are photographers. However, the iPhone 15 Pro doesn't have the 5x zoom option that's on the iPhone 16 Pro. However, the iPhone 15 Pro Max does have that 5x telephoto zoom option. And then the iPhone 15 Pro has a lot of the standard Pro camera features that one would care about, like macro, photo, and video, ProRes video recording, log video recording, and cinematic video up to 4K 30 frames per second. However, I would say the bokeh effect on cinematic video can be quite off a lot of times. I haven't really dabbled too much in these pro camera features myself, but it is really cool to see Apple start taking content creation seriously with their newer iPhones. And then in terms of camera upgrades the iPhone 16 Pro has, it has this thing called visual intelligence, which allows you to take photos of objects and search them up, which is really handy for finding the type of clothes someone's wearing or searching up a plant online. It has better audio quality when it comes to recording videos, and then the iPhone 16 Pro 2 also has this thing called camera control, which is basically a little toggle on the side of the phone that allows you to make quick adjustments and do things like adjust the tone of certain photos. But other than that, you're not really missing out on too much camera features by going with the 15 Pro over the 16 Pro. As you can probably tell by now, for $700 to $800, you're getting an insane value with the iPhone 15 Pro in 2025, at least for those who are techies. And you can really see this difference for yourself on Apple's Compare iPhone Models page that I'm gonna leave linked down below, just how similar the iPhone 15 Pro is compared to the 16 Pro and some of these other iPhone models out there. Anyways, that pretty much concludes this video, and I hope you guys learned a lot about the iPhone 15 Pro. I will put a playlist up on screen of more iPhone reviews if you want to check those out, as well as affiliate links to these phones down below. Thank you again for watching, and goodbye.